Going to work and coming home each day feels like an endless cycle. The dream is that one day everything will change, that life will offer the chance to stay at home and do nothing. With enough wealth, all time could be devoted to hobbies, painting, feeding fish in a pond, or whatever simple joys come to mind. But life is rarely that simple. Some people are rich, and they are the lucky ones. They're living the dream. Jeff decided he'd had enough. It was time to build wealth of his own. He bought a machine that promised exactly that. Of course, he still had to go to work to build a foundation. But every day, he set aside part of his earnings to spin the slot machine. After all, with one pull of the lever, he could multiply his winnings tenfold. What could possibly go wrong? And here he is, Jeff, a stylish guy with his whole life ahead of him. He's a massive introvert, but obsessively clean. His new address? 1 Sim Lane, the most prestigious street in the entire neighborhood. The perfect home for Jeff. Of course, after buying such valuable land, Jeff has exactly 0 simoleons left in his pocket. Well, 0 except for his shiny new slot machine. The plan is simple. Achieve financial independence with the help of this machine. But to gamble, you need a capital. And to get capital, well, you need something that's hard to even say out loud. A job. There is one spot in the entertainment career, waiter. The pay is 100 simoleons a day. Not prestigious, not glamorous, but there aren't many options. For now, he'll be that guy, the one endlessly serving drinks and lobster to the wealthy. It's not the dream, but it's a stepping stone. The first step towards true financial independence. His ride pulls up, a clunky rust bucket that looks like it's ready to fall apart, dragging him towards his first day of forced smiles and serving the wealthy. A promotion to TV extra, or as they like to call it, living scenery. Jeff has graduated from serving lobster to silently existing in the blurry background of commercials and low-budget films. A mysterious box full of junk. Jeff instantly sells all of it, turning trash into cash. Just enough to afford life's true necessity, a phone. With the leftover cash, plus today's earnings from work, it's time to hit the slot machine. Big bets only, 100 simoleons per spin. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And just like that, a random phone call lands Jeff 1,450 simoleons. Earlier this morning, his bank account was at 0, and by 5 p.m. the same day, he is now at 3,127 simoleons. First things first, have to use some of the winnings to get some basic living essentials together. It was enough for a toilet, a bed, and a snack closet, but not enough for a shower. That only means one thing. Have to pull the lever on this thing a couple more times and hope for the best. And just like that, 600 simoleons turned into 1,200. Now Jeff can afford more than just a shower. He has his own armchair and a new source of entertainment, a TV, but have to stop at nothing. Need to bet more. This is nearly enough. And he got another 1,000 simoleon win. The best way to handle wealth? Investing it. In Jeff's case, he became an art collector. A dark room with no doors will house his most prized pieces. And with a successful day behind him, he heads to bed. A new day, full of new opportunities. With only 2 simoleons to his name, it's time to head back to work and earn more gambling money. After all, the slot machine won't spin for free. 150 simoleons, not exactly a livable wage, but it'll have to do for now. Under the circumstances, have to stick to smaller bets. There's just not enough capital for 100 simoleon spins. A few spins later, he's down to 52 simoleons. Finally, a win. Today has been fairly uneventful. So far, Jeff is still down 20 simoleons. Have to try another spin. And just like that, 100 simoleon win. But before long, it's morning again and have to get to work. To earn a promotion, Jeff needs charisma. And charisma he shall have. After all, a promotion comes with a bonus. And a bonus means he can have some high stakes spins on the slot machine. But not only does he need the charisma to get a promotion, also need to battle his mood that has harder swings than the stock market on Monday morning. Hopefully, this will be enough to get that promotion. And it was. Jeff got promoted to bit player. And even better news? There's now enough in the bank for more 100 simoleon spins. There we go. Let the money flow. Time to expand his home, just enough to improve his comfort of living. There's just one problem. Not enough cash for a kitchen counter. Well, guess he'll have to gamble for it. That didn't go so well. Ended up losing all the money instead. But that's okay. Jeff has his job to refill the bank account. After a few $10 spins, Jeff recovers some of the losses from the previous day. Finally, he can afford the kitchen counter he wanted. Though as it turns out, he's completely useless in the kitchen. The entertainer career just won't cut it. It doesn't bring enough cash home. There's nothing left to gamble with. Time for a change. The military career. It's tough and far from clean, but it pays well. And that's all that matters right now. Well, if nothing else, the car is much nicer. No promotion unfortunately, but that's okay. Time to clean up the puddles of animal urine from the sidewalk. There just isn't enough time for everything. Someone has to deal with the daily cat pee on the sidewalk and the dirty dishes. At this point, a maid is absolutely necessary. A 10 simoleon spin turns into a win. What does this even mean? Okay, Jeff has 548 bucks saved up. Time for some high stakes spins. And a few spins later, just like that, he's doubled his money. Once again, the telephone operator sends a generous donation his way. They just love giving away free money. Clearly, this calls for more art investments. More spinning, more winning. The art room is steadily growing. Over 3,000 bucks in Jeff's bank account. The slot machine is really filling his pockets today. The art room is now full. Even more winning. He is rich enough to have his own swimming pool at this point. Jeff has gambled his way up to 5,800 bucks. Can't believe the luck, honestly. Time to sell some of the art that's appreciated in value. Jeff needs his body skill at level 2 for the next promotion. And the quickest way to get there is by soaking in the pool for a couple of hours. Just gotta remember to put the ladder back before he drowns. Just a little more and he will have 10,000 in the bank. Just as easy as that. Pull the bandit's hand a few times and a few thousand more appear in Jeff's pocket. Time to sell off a couple more of those statues. I just checked the bank statement again. Over 12,000 simoleons. The guy's really raking it in with the one-armed bandit. A promotion to drill instructor. Now Jeff gets paid a ton of money to scream his lungs out at new recruits. He's now making double of what he used to in the entertainment business. And that calls for a house upgrade. A huge upgrade from his worn-out, 0-bedroom shack that was better suited as a shelter for wild animals. No more defecating, urinating, showering, sleeping, and cooking all in the same room. This is finally something that actually passes as a house. His living conditions have improved massively. He now has a proper kitchen, a separate bathroom, a living room, an isolated bedroom, and even a tiny room to indulge his favorite habit. The only issue is, cash-wise, he is down to his last 510 simoleons. 110. Never mind, just 10 bucks left. And that meal took away his last tenner. And to top it all off, that very same night, a burglar showed up. The problem? With all the new stuff and recent gambling losses, there wasn't enough budget left for an alarm. Ironically, the first thing stolen was the slot machine, then the expensive stove, and finally, one dining chair. Yeah, and Jeff has no money left to replace any of it. And then, the maid took away the bathroom's flower pot. Thanks to the ongoing money issues, there wasn't enough left to pay her. Well, at least the high-paying military job is still around. A few days later, the stove was replaced. The old gambling room? Repurposed into a reading room. Sometimes with gambling, you really do have to know when to stop. Sadly, greed has a way of consuming every last trace of logic and reason. Sometimes it's wiser to appreciate what you have instead of chasing what you think you're missing.